All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have a first time guest. Well, no, I've been having a lot of first time guests this month, but I want to introduce an artist from my city who's just killing it right now. Mr. Elijah Banks is in the building. What's going on?
Hey man, it's like I'm good. It's like interview after interview. I had an interview yesterday, so just in that promo mode right now, just trying to keep everything afloat and continue making music at the same time. So man, how are
I
you?
feel that. I'm good, man. I can't complain at all, man. I'm honestly I'm having one of the best stretches like of my creative life for real right now. So I'm happy.
Oh, what's that? What you doing?
Well, with this, like the podcast is been growing
Okay.
steadily for the last few years. I'm like getting more into video. Like I have this whole short film I'm planning on doing with my daughter. So like, yeah, it's just a lot of stuff brewing right now in my mind.
That's fire, man.
I
That's
appreciate
fire.
that.
Film is like such a hidden gem. I feel like if you're creative, you definitely need to like dabble in it
Oh yeah,
just a little
absolutely.
bit,
Because
because it's like
like the visual medium is like it'll catch people's eyes that don't even know you or anything. They'll just if you can
yeah,
do it right. So
and it's like too. What we doing with music, well, what I'm doing with music is I'm trying to get people to close their eyes and imagine what they seeing,
uh-huh.
and like film is actually, you get to make that, so it's kind of like one and the same artistically.
Yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure. Well, man, I want to thank you for taking time out. What I need to ask you, man, what is it like being in the place that you are right now? Because you hot out here, man.
Hey, hey, I'm trying to stay humble, bro. Like that's that's what it is, because it could go to your head,
Hmm.
but you got the girls out there, you got the
Yeah,
people sharing your music all the time, and one of the biggest things I'm learning is, and one of my homies told me this, it's like one of my OGs, he's like, there's going to be so many people that come around that are going to pitch you on whatever the deal is. It could be anything,
yeah,
and you got to be able to really decipher, like, is this good for me? And like that is a huge challenge. Like,
yeah,
you don't realize it when you like are just on the way up, but the deals and the stuff, it just comes so frequently. It's just like, okay, like, actually, is this shit good for me or is this bad? So I thought that was like some wise words for anybody that's coming up in the industry right now. Like, I had this 18-year-old kid, he DM'd me on Instagram and he was like, hey man, if you could give me any advice, what would it be? And I told him, I was like, first off, don't stop the craft. Just keep going consistently. Like,
hmm
if you got a rhythm going, just go for it. You know what I mean? Like I look back and I could have stopped 5 years ago. I told myself I was gonna stop rapping at 25,
okay,
you know, and I started rapping again at 27 and
that's
singing.
crazy.
And now I'm like, damn, I'm glad I didn't. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, for
I'm
sure.
glad I kept going. So, yeah.
Yeah, and it's crazy because like you're right, you're so right. In like being a creative, and especially when you start getting buzz or attention, you have to learn discernment really early, or you're gonna burn out. Like the people who don't understand like how to deal with it, and I'll admit I didn't at all at first. Like it took me. I've been doing this almost 3 years now. This podcast. In the first year, I ain't even gonna lie, I was wilding because I wasn't prepared for the attention that I was going to get for it. So it takes you to be mentally mature, but also to have discernment to know how to deal with that type of stuff when it comes in for sure.
Yeah, and it's cool too, because like, well, I'm gonna just hit on this one more time. When you first start, getting into whatever you're doing, whatever your passion is, you've
Mhm.
been told no so much that discernment doesn't kick in yet, and you just
Yeah,
start saying
yeah,
yes to everything. You like,
yeah,
oh, I'm popping now, and then you're right, you burn out, and then as soon as you burn out, it's a wrap, man.
yeah, for sure, for sure. But man, we got to talk about this album Spin.
Okay, yeah, let's check. So I recorded this album over the all pretty much. I started in March of 2019,
Okay,
and then I finished it around mid December. So it was crazy, man, because I was going through a lot on this album, especially like in and out of relationships, and I had to really take a step back and be like, "Yo, how can I capitalize off like the bad situation?" I was like, "All right, I'm
yeah,
gonna I'm gonna do an album." So every song on the album is a situation right before it spins out of control. And that's
okay,
why I named it Spin. So if you
makes
listen
sense.
to each song, you'll be like, oh, like right before it's about to get crazy. You know what I
Okay,
mean? And when I first picked that name, like, people were like, Spin, Spin, what's that mean? And then when I tell them the definition, it's usually pretty cool. And I always like to do things that are against the status quo. Like I could do a love and hate or a blank and blank. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Everybody can do that, but that's been done.
yeah, definitely. What motivates you musically? Like coming into this album, what was the mindset that you were in?
Um, it's crazy. After my first album, I was like, I don't know if I want to release albums anymore. So I just
Okay,
started I started making music more on just trying to be creative tip for real. Like I was like, what could I do differently? And after about 6 or 7 months of that, I'm just like, I'm pretty much I'm scratching out, I'm smoking out, like my fire is going out,
okay,
and then I find this groove. I just find this little bop that I just if you listen to each song, it's just like this little consistent bop. And I was like, I'm gonna make love songs, but they're gonna be boppy.
okay.
So, because I mean, no, I don't sing ballads, I don't belt. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm more in the lane of like a Her, Summer Walker. Like you're not really gonna hear me like singing like Whitney Houston or anything like that.
Yeah,
It's kind of
yeah.
like the new age R&B.
Okay, okay. How do you feel like, and we'll get, I don't want to take too much off your album because this is your time to shine, but because we don't get many great R&B albums anymore, what do you think about the place that R&B is right
Hey, I gotta say this. This is, I think we get good R&B albums from rappers now.
that I feel that. I completely
Yeah,
feel that. I can agree with that.
because you're right though. Like now that I look back at it, you're right. We don't really get like straight up R&B albums from like an R&B artist, and they're
Yeah.
never like classics. But I feel like we get great R&B songs on rap albums.
Okay.
And with how Spotify is curated now, like you can listen to a playlist and really be in your feelings versus, when I was growing up, you had Mary J, you had Monica, you had Brandy. Like those were the R&B albums that my aunts, and stuff would listen to. So, but no, that's a good point, man. I never thought about that. And it's something that I'm always trying to expand um, my like music arsenal. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? Like sometimes one night I'll just listen to only Brandy from '92,
Okay.
and I'll just listen to that all night. Won't listen to nothing else, just to see like I really want to be in that moment, live in that moment. What did it feel like to be, mid 20s in '92?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. I feel that. I think too, like when you look at R&B's are always been like, as much as rap is a reflection of where we are in the culture is too, R&B has always been a reflection of like how we're feeling. Like it's a kind of a different vibe, and like people don't fall in love like they used to anymore. So that's why R&B, I think R&B music is taking a different spin, and not that it's a bad thing, because there's some artists that are doing some really creative things with R&B, like Masego.
Hmm.
I love to hear him like just do his thing, and it's hard to fit him in a box. And I think as music grows and as our culture becomes the most dominant culture, is that it's just going into a place where it's beautiful.
Right. And man, I'm so happy you brought up Masego too, because he's such a talent, man. Like
Yeah,
I don't like to ride the wave of when I first hear like a lot of people naming the same person. Like I always like if an album drops, I always wait a month in order to listen to it. That way I'm listening to it from a perspective of, yo, this is actual talent. Like the music is good, not just
yeah,
hype, not clout. I found him about a year after he popped. Like people are already talking about him. I was like, yeah, 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 we'll
yeah,
see.
yeah.
And then I saw that Tadao live.
That's what got me.
I
Yeah.
said, yo, this man. And I'm trying to figure out, is this staged? Like, is this fake? Like, is it pre-recorded? Nah, like this dude is really talented. And I respected that so much. I was like, this is cool.
Yeah, yeah. He's uber talented, man. But let's get back on you, because Masego is, I could talk about his music all day, because I found
Yeah.
Masego's music when I was in a really dark place, bro. Like dead serious. And it was like it was that spark that I needed to kind of snap out of it. So
Yeah.
uh but Spin, man, what is your favorite track on the album?
My favorite is Zooming Through. It's number two.
Okay.
uh, that song is about my car getting declined at like a high fashion retail store in the
Okay.
mall. And that's happened to me before. It actually wasn't at like the Louis store, but I was like writing this record, and I always try to make like an embarrassing moment or something that you would see that's like bad into like a dope song.
Okay.
So like some of my favorite artists do it, like Frank Ocean. You know what I mean? Like, he could take something bad and it's just like, damn, like this is really a good song now. So
Yeah.
I think that's an art form in itself. So I tried that on Zooming Through, and I was like, I'm gonna make this into a bop. Like my card got declined, like, and I got this retail problem about high fashion, and I'm just flirting with the cashier, and
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to get a discount, and make it into a love song, and it's called Zooming Through slash Retail Love. So
Okay.
that was my favorite. So, and it was my favorite to actually listen back to after I mixed it. Like I just found myself dancing to it like the whole time. So it
Okay.
was cool, man. I liked it.
How many of the songs in this album have you gotten to perform live so far?
Actually, not. Actually, I take that back. I was gonna say not any, but the last two records on the album, I've done a few times. Those were done, but they were never available for um, like streaming.
Okay.
So like we were just like, oh, let's try this out at a show because we want to see like do would people even like this before you actually put it on the album. So we
Mhm.
did that with the last two. That is Rebound and I'm sorry, Getting By and a couple bands. But I actually got a batch of shows coming up here.
Okay.
I got some rehearsals coming up with the band. It's about to get. I call it show season. Like I've been
Hmm.
in the gym, just getting that cardio up because once show season starts, man, it's weird because especially in Columbus, people see you do a few big shows and all the other shows just start rolling in. Just
Yeah.
like week
Yeah.
after week after week after week.
Yeah. And Columbus is such a place that when Columbus messes with you, when they fuck with you, they really fuck with you
Yep.
on a different level. And like I've lived all over the world. So like I grew up in Germany, lived in Italy, moved to St. Louis, and then I came here. A few other stops along the way, and there's never been a city where like I feel the vibe like I do in Columbus. Like when they support people who are really from here, it's completely different, man.
Yeah, I know, man. Like, you got that band camp that is going crazy right
Yeah,
now. I don't know too much about them, but I don't know too many people selling out 3 nights in a row
exactly.
at the
Yeah,
Newport. That's what you call hometown hero. Like
yeah,
that's hometown love. So, but I think we always got to come from a place of like respect too. When you see something like that come out of the city,
hmm,
even as a fellow artist, it's like I don't know them. I don't know anybody in their camp, but I'm like, hey, you can't hate. Hey, numbers
yeah.
don't lie, bro.
That's what. Yeah, yeah. Numbers don't lie.
It's the realest. So,
Yeah. What when you go in like to perform live, when you're hyping up for a performance, do you listen to music? Do you kind of, because like some people have different process. Like some people listen to music, kind of zone out, get into it. Some people like to just take in the nervousness and not do anything and just sit in that. What's kind of your process to prepare live?
oh, I definitely sit in my nervousness, bro.
Yeah.
Like I just sit there and I actually don't like to be around anyone
Okay.
because everybody's got so many damn questions. Like 5 minutes before you go on stage,
Yeah.
everybody's like, "What time are you going on? Oh, are we doing this song first?" It's like, whew, just chill. I like my routine is I like one drink before I go on,
Okay.
whiskey and coke, just to knock the nerve off, just a little bit. That way, when I'm up there, the lights, it's not as like up front, and it kind of like gets me in the zone where, like, I I got an attitude where like I don't give a f. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
I'm cool, but not enough to forget my words to the records.
Okay.
So that's my thing, yeah. But definitely, I feel like anybody. Well, I mean, maybe some people aren't nervous, but I know every show you get nervous, and it's usually the worst the day before, not the day of. I don't know what it is. Like I'll be at work just finishing up some stuff, and I'll be like just so nervous and like anxious for some reason, and I'll remember, oh, I have a show tomorrow. Like I could feel it.
Yeah.
But the day of the show, like up until about 5 minutes before, it's cool. And then once you're on stage, it's just a different kind of I know I kind of like black out a little bit. Like
Hmm.
I only remember like bits and pieces while I'm up there. It's not blackout from like being scared. It's just like I'm so in that moment that it doesn't really like I'm not nervous, but I'm
Yeah.
also like really concentrated on making sure that the vibe is correct. I'm nailing my notes, my vocals, trying to be in line with the band. and the sound is good. So there's like a lot of moving pieces when you're on stage, when you got a band too. So it's just like a learning experience.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Well, is it different for you? Like, well, of course it's different, but do you prefer doing with the live band, or do you
Oh,
prefer doing it with the track?
100%.
Okay, yeah, okay,
100%, man. It's just like I think the beginning is cool to do a DJ
uh huh,
and yourself, but man, looking back, I'm like, man, people had to be bored at my shows.
uh huh,
It's just so much you could do with a band to really, and even like for my genre, I feel like you could just be so much more entertained with a band. So like we do a sound check, a live sound check right on stage,
okay,
and it's cool. Like they just start playing whatever groove they want, and I introduce every member of the band, and it gets people to eventually walk to the stage and actually start to engage. You start talking to people in the crowd, like, "Hey, man, come up to the stage!" Like it's just like a cool feeling. You can't really do that over a 2 track. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah, for sure,
It's only so many DJ drops you're gonna be able to do in
yeah,
order to get somebody, or you can only run the song back so many times.
yeah. Yeah, and as a viewer, like not like sitting back for somebody who loves music, like seeing somebody perform with a live band, it's just different. Like it's
It
completely
is.
different. Like it'll put you in a whole different mental space and like to take in the music because really when you're doing it with the DJ, like they can be super entertaining too, especially like people who depending on the type of music you do. But it's something different about R&B and live bands, man.
Yeah, it's just a tad different, man, and it's like no knock to anything that I've done before with it. It's just it's a different feel. It's a
Yeah,
different feel.
yeah,
It's
for
it's
sure.
hard to explain.
For sure. So what you said you're heading into performance season, man. What where can people catch you at? What's next on the list?
So I got one on the 28th of March. I'm sorry, February. So here in about what is it? Almost two
Almost two
weeks.
weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing. So my buddy just opened up a pretty nice studio. It's called Avant Music Group, and it's a private event. So it's like a little like industry mixer kind of
Okay.
thing. I'm gonna do that with the bands, like 3 to 5 songs. I think they're gonna open up tickets maybe the day of to see if there's any more space available.
Okay.
But I got that one. I'm doing a co-headline show at the Forum with Haize. We're doing that one on March 28th. Also signed on for a festival in Dublin. We're doing that on. That's not until way down the line, but I'm trying to only do one uh, show per quarter
Okay. Makes sense.
because last year I did probably like 20 shows and they were all in Columbus, and
Hmm.
it's like I mean I don't care what you say, it's the same 30 to 40 people,
I feel
and
you.
there's only so much you can mix your setup. So
Yeah.
I think the goal this year for me is to try and get some stuff out of the state, try to build out, try to make the album actually bigger. You know what I'm saying? That way, I can get some people actually looking in different cities.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
So it's a work in progress, man. You learn a lot. You learn a whole lot along this way. It's so much more than the music, man.
Yeah, yeah. I think I'm kind of on the other end of the spectrum from you because last year in 2019 I did just like speak like I had 3 live shows and then I spoke at like 2 or 3 other events, but none of them were in. No, one I did Cloud City in Columbus, but none of the other ones were in Columbus. Like here, I'm focused on. I really want to do a lot of stuff in Columbus because the city needs it, but B, like I said before, like it's just something different about Columbus, man, that I love. Columbus is just it just fits me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a nice city, man. I've been here for 10 years now, and it's just like it's cool.
yeah, yeah, for sure. So you got a new single dropping February 14th, 4
Oh
a.m.
yeah, 4 a.m. 4 a.m. Yeah, man, it's such a crazy record too, and it got a lot to do with the rollout. But this record, man, is I was talking to this girl at this one time, and she was a bartender,
Okay.
and bartenders they get off late, so she kept hitting me up at like 4 a.m. I work a 9 to 5. I'm like, girl, like you gotta, call me a little bit earlier. But so the song just kind of goes into like that love story,
Okay.
and it's cool, man. And I won't allude too much into it. I still want people to listen to it, but such a dope record. 4 a.m. It was produced by my boy Mantra, He's such a cool guy. No features. It's just me on the record. It's kind of got like a old school feel to it.
Hmm.
I do have the there is an ability to pre-save the link on my Instagram bio. So if
Okay.
you want to like actually check it out, and as soon as it comes out on Friday, you just go to my IG, which is Elijah Banks Music, and hit the link in my bio. I got the hyperlink for the pre-save.
Cool. Cool. What what can people expect from the track? You said it got a lot of energy. You told them a love story, but like, what can they expect?
Um, expect a lot of howling. Like I'm so serious, man. It's a lot of howling and like a lot of weird sounds. And I think I always want to try different stuff. Just just know it's gonna sound like segregation in the
Mm,
1970s.
okay, that's powerful.
Like a, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Like, hey, and it's the right month to do it too.
yeah. That's for sure.
Yep.
What?
So
Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, so like I'm super excited to like put the record out.
Uh,
It's crazy because I thought this amount of timing would be enough, but No Words is popping too. It's my first single, so it's
mhm.
like I potentially have two records that are really popping in the city because this one's really catchy, man. Like it's
Yeah,
gonna have people like
yeah.
like it's just one of those. It's dope. I can't
Okay,
lie. Like
that's what's up. That's what's up.
yep.
What's something you want to experiment with musically in 2020?
Um, 2020, I want to experiment with more. Like I want to actually play on stage, play some guitar on stage,
Okay.
and I'm not far off. I like the acoustic sound with my voice right now, and even if it's like one of those records where we just did three or four with the band and everybody's taking a swig, and I just like randomly start playing something and singing to it,
Hmm.
even just for a few minutes, something that everybody knows. Um, I think I want to start there, but yeah, that's one of my main goals musically. What else? I think that's pretty much about it. I definitely want to put out a lot more music than I did last year. Last year I did three records myself, like three singles, and I did a bunch of features.
Okay.
This year I'm trying to put out at least two albums and some singles. So
How how do you balance between like wanting to flood the streets with like a whole bunch of music and wanting to not oversaturate with too much music? Like, how do you balance that?
I think right now we in a you got to pick a side
Yeah.
for one. I got to say that you either are gonna be like it's quality over quantity, or you're gonna be like it's quantity over quality.
Okay.
Because if you don't pick a side, where I was last year, you're gonna find yourself like not releasing nothing, and like it's really not that good. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So what I want to do is like I'm standing behind my music this year. I really want to be able to put myself in a position where I have a catalog and it's great. And if I do want to work with other artists that are bigger than me, they can go to it, they can see it, and we can make that happen. But I read an interesting article, and it was like you find your zone once you release your 26th song. I was like, that's such a
Okay.
random
That's
number.
yeah.
I'm at 22 right now. I got
Okay.
22 on Spotify, and that will put me right at my next album. So I just thought that was interesting, and I feel like these first two were kind of warm up. Like now, I feel
Okay.
like I'm finally in my zone.
Okay.
So it's just some cool, like it's all your perspective. But the biggest thing is really standing behind what you believe in,
Yeah,
and
for
like
sure.
sticking to it.
For sure.
Like, cause nobody would have like there's just certain things you just can't give advice on. Like Takashi, nobody would have been like, "Yo, dye your hair," and while out on IG Live. Like
Yeah.
no one would have said
Yeah.
that, but it worked because he stood behind it. He was like, "Yo, you know this is what I'm gonna do. Like this is me." So me, I make a lot of music and I want to share it. And sometimes you ever listen to an artist like Lil Wayne back in the day, he has great music. All of it wasn't timeless, but it fit really well over that time period. So like when I listen back to No Ceilings, we wanted niggas to rap like that on records, but Wayne was the only one that was doing it.
Yeah.
Now you listen back to it, you got more people rapping like that, and there's not less structure because the structure back then, man. And I don't want to get off in a tangent. Everybody was so structured. Like you never hear nothing was the same or anything like that back in '07. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't fit. Like the industry wasn't ready for it. And I feel like now the industry is so open that you can really do like a lot of weird stuff. I listen to Ye albums and I'm like, he could have 3 songs in one, but that's hot now.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's just standing behind it, man. Stand behind what you believe in.
for sure. For sure. You got to. You can't stand behind what you putting out there, then how do you expect anybody else to fuck with it?
Yep, that's
Yeah.
very true.
Yeah. All right, man. I got nothing left. So like go ahead and if you want to leave them with any parting words, otherwise tell the people where they can find you at and follow you and listen to your music.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So you guys can check out all my music. It's anywhere you can stream it: Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon. You just type in Elijah Banks in Google, Elijah Banks in anything, or you can ask Siri or Alexa to play an Elijah Banks song. Check out my new album. It's called Spin. Just dropped this year. Got a lot of new music coming up. If you want to follow me for any updates, just check me out on IG. I'm on my story like pretty much all day, every day. So any shows, any features, any music that I'm working on, you can kind of see the whole process. And that's Elijah Banks Music, Instagram.com/Elijah Banks Music.
All right, y'all make sure y'all go check him out. New single, 4 a.m. dropping February 14th, man. Y'all gotta listen
Hey,
to it.
yes, sir. Well, thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
Oh man, anytime, man. And I hold on, I'm gonna end this. Don't leave yet.
Okay.